Nice. I'm excited. Yeah, the hype is absolutely real. I'm got three different e-ink devices to talk to you about tonight, and I'm gonna, this new academic year, I'm gonna try my best to be a bit more regular on probably a Thursday night slot. And I'm just gonna try and keep the streams to about an hour long, just so they can kind of like, yeah, just so we can get a bit more of a flow going as to where we're gonna meet, what we're going to talk about, and what the show is going to be like each time. Yeah, I don't disagree at all. An A4 color with an EMR pen, a Boox Note Max C. Yeah, maybe. Today we're going to unbox this one. This is the Pen Star. Okay, a new Pen Star coming. That's what we're going to do first of all. So I won't be able to go too in depth for that. I don't know my way around it all that much, but I've also got a BigMe S6. Pardon me. S6 was an old device. I've got a BigMe B6 device to talk about, and one more thing from BigMe as well. Normally I like to have the first videos out on those, and I have filmed those two videos, but because it's been the holidays, let me know how your holidays is going, everyone. If you're on summer holiday, I'm a teacher. Some poor souls have come down with COVID during the break, so sorry to hear that. Although I hear you've gone back as well, so sorry to hear that, my man. So everyone send Ed some sympathy, please, in the chat there. Hopefully he is back to normal. And, Ed is putting out loads of content as well. Absolutely brilliant. I noticed just how many shorts you've been putting out, Ed, as well. That's really great stuff. It's really good to capture a new audience as well, a different generation, maybe like that sort of shorter content as well. Yeah. Okay. You slow down and rest up, buddy, and enjoy a nice live stream. So which device did you see on Amazon the other day? The buttons, you saw the Pen Star. Yeah, competitive pricing. That's an interesting one. Now this one, I've been looking on their website, and I'm sure that today was the launch day. Absolutely certain today is the launch day, but it still doesn't seem to have appeared on their website yet. So there's a link down there that takes you to the website, but currently they're still advertising only the e-note, which was, yeah, $320 right now. But what did I not like about the e-note itself? There are a few things, but yeah, we will go into that as well in a little while. I'm going to get the camera fired up overhead shot as well in a moment as well. Just thought I'd say hello. Let me know what else you've been up to. I've been on my holidays to the States, had an absolutely wonderful time. And next week I'm taking a week off in Wales, next to the sea in Norfolk in England. So that's going to be really good as well. Every day is a holiday. Yeah. My daughter actually thought I was retired at the minute as well. Good man. Yeah, like that. My pleasure, Konstantin. Absolutely a pleasure to be here and talk to you all about e-ink tablets and other things as well. And actually, I don't know if you've noticed, but tomorrow I'm going to be back with a look at some interesting mini PCs that I've been using as well. So that's going to be fun as well. I hope to see you tomorrow night as well for another session. So let me just get everything fired up in terms of the top-down camera, and we'll get this thing unboxed. Let me know your questions for it so far. The Pen Star e-note. What questions do you have for me immediately? What are you excited to see, or about the BigMe, or about anything else? Any hunches of things that might come? Because the title of this stream, wasn't it, is e-ink launch season. It's all very exciting to guess what might come our way. It's all very exciting to think what's going to happen, not just with tech. I saw the Google Pixel and Pixel Fold 10 were released today, or the teaser kind of information about them was released today. I'm going to go to a trade show. I saw lots of my friends in America covered the CES, but the big European one's called IFA in Berlin. I'm going to go there in a couple of weeks' time as well, at the start of September. So, it's going to be lots of tech to cover. Really excited for that as well. So, yeah. Warm welcome to you, Sherry. Absolutely great to see you. Yeah, as I said, had an absolutely wonderful holiday with the family in the US. So just gonna quickly play this, and then I'll be back ready to unbox this one and have a look at it with you. Recently, my channel hit 50,000 subscribers, so thank you so much to each and every one of you who spend any time here watching my content. I'm always interested to hear what you've got to say, and I always value your comments and your questions to inform my content going forward. But I would absolutely love it if I could hit 100,000 this year, so please go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed, and let's run those numbers up to get to 100K in 2025. Yeah, that's an interesting one there. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, being linked to carriers? You can get yourself a, the cheapest way is usually to buy them yourself and buy them outright. And then they're yours to sell if they're kind of unlocked as well. So here it is. Here's the thing itself. I have not done my bit to change this to this. And then we should be, there we go. Now we've got a clean, what's called a clean feed from the camera. So there we are. My apologies for that. You don't need to see all the ISO information that I get on my little screen up here. The pen style then, I always think this is a bit of a, I think this sounds like a good idea, but actually it's not always a great idea to unbox things live. It is a Canon. And actually, Ed, you predicted my first sort of note about this was the thing. Well, I didn't like using a pen only with the first pen star, but I think that you would just get used to it if you committed to it. And the thing about the pen star is that actually it's not a Wacom EMR, but it is an EMR pen. Okay, you can see me in the reflection as well. It is an EMR pen. And it is just as good, if not even maybe slightly better than the standard Wacom EMR that you get in a e-ink tablet, because this has got double the levels of pressure sensitivity. And although, of course, even my first pens I had that had 1000 levels of pressure sensitivity, I thought that was absolutely plenty, and it was. Even though that's the case, the having the extra levels of pen sensitivity does actually translate to better handwriting. Interesting stuff. So multiple device cloud synchronization, and that'll be an interesting one when they bring out the different sizes that they promised. Slightly larger battery than before. It was 6000 milliamp hours before, and now it's slightly larger. And they've talked again about the innovative ePaper screen technology. Now, I've looked at the N10 Pro model. I've looked up eNote, and the last one was called eNote. But this one I think was called eNote 2, but I can't find that anywhere. So if anyone finds a link at any point to an actual web page which tells you this exact device, eNote 2, then please put that in the chat below. So here we go. As I say, unboxing. Normally you will see these edited down, and this might make its way into a video in the future. You never know. But I create a lot of mess when I unbox here. But one big change, and one thing I didn't like about the previous one, was it was the 227 ppi screen, and this time it's the 300 ppi screen, so that's great news. Another big change is it looks like a better processor. I'm not sure exactly which processor it is. Quadruple the storage and double the RAM. It's only down at 2. Now, actually, one thing they put in their marketing materials to me was this PenStar OS 2. So they've kind of done a whole revamp here, and they did say that it would have to do a big update, so we'll see about that. They've included 2 styluses this time. Okay, so that's interesting. They clearly had some complaints there about that before, which I've never heard anyone need to include 2. I don't know why they've decided to do that. I don't know if they're 2 different ones, or we will see there, won't we? And it's a 10.3-inch screen with 300 ppi, which points towards it being the Carter 1250 rather than the Carter 1300. And the other big change is that it is Android 14 this time. Yeah, it is absolutely really nicely presented in the packaging. You're absolutely right there. Yeah, so it's nice. Getting good feelings about this. And I think this PenStar name is an interesting one, because in a world where other e-ink manufacturers are going away from EMR pens and using capacitive styluses similar to, if not actually based on USI standard, then I think that these guys having this, it's not third party, it's not Wacom, what it is made by a company called Hanvon. Now, Hanvon are actually, or rather PenStar, it seems, are the Western arm of Hanvon. So Hanvon make e-ink tablets that they sell in the Eastern markets. And as you'd expect, look, we've got USB A to C. But there we are. That's the less interesting parts there. extra nibs in there as well, nicely in a presentation set that you can pull the nib off with that little slicer there. And I don't know why I've got an Amazon card, because I didn't purchase this from Amazon. I don't think Amazon even sent it, but there we are. Okay, and thank you very much to Penstar for sending this out for review. This is brand new and live, and they haven't, of course, they haven't seen it because, well, they're seeing it if they're watching at the exact same time as you. Handle with care, no heavy objects. Do not squeeze. So do not cuddle your Penstar, everyone. Very large pen loop, absolutely. And I think that's it. I think if they want to differentiate themselves, then they can be the company that sticks with the EMR technology. And I think that will be an interesting thing in the future. We've got Wacom, they're making their own, they're not making e-ink tablets, but they're making their own Android tablets. Perhaps that's a reason for them all to want to go away from Wacom. Maybe Wacom have increased that licensing price, but maybe it's just a different thing. Maybe it's about the actual qualities of that USI type stylus. So here we go. I haven't got the original one to hand. I will make a comparison at some point, but they wanted to point out that it's a whiter screen this time, and it is really white as white. It didn't feel quite as rough this time. It was a really gritty screen last time, like too much actually, and this time it's slightly smoother. And yeah, it's actually a smoother feel. It looks a little bit more grown up, but I'm still getting the same thing as before. And it's nice that I can use it without having to log in, just agree with the agreement. Last time I did like the pen, and this pen seems exactly the same. There's a couple of things I like about it. The nib is a nice kind of soft, feltish feeling nib, okay, and coupled with the pen, coupled with the screen before, it was quite nice as well. The there we go. The pen looks really, really snazzy, but it looks like a beautiful metal, but actually it feels quite plasticky. But it has another nice feature that I really liked, which was just the nibs being stored in the end there. I actually think that's quite cool. There's 4 nibs in there, and yeah, you're unlikely to get into a situation where you're not having a brand new nib. It's got, I think that's an eraser at the back there, and it's got a button, and it's got those 8,000 levels of pressure. So let's have a good look here. Clicked on new note, did I not? And yeah, I think you mentioned, yeah, what about the lack of touch? You'll see me do this quite a bit. I didn't do it that time, but you'll see me try and touch things with my hand during this like live stream, because I'm just so used to doing that. I quite like the fact that you can actually make a little cover. You can make your own cover. Okay, and that looks good. And that you can choose your template. This is quite a nice thing. I normally go for a dot small. That's what I like, the templates that I like on things. Let's see how typing with it is. It's got handwriting recognition. So I normally just make a first thoughts video. Not quite. Didn't put a space in between. Let's see if it gets any better if I get used to it a little bit. It got first horse. Okay, so we'll leave it at that for that bit. Space and put T in. There we go, and create. Let's just have a look at the brushes and see if they've changed things up at all from last time. Looks pretty similar. I normally go with a ballpoint. Yeah, okay, that's pretty nice. It's not very pen looking, it looks more like a felt tip pen rather than that. Let's have a look at the pencil. Always keen to see, is the pencil Does it have tilt? No. Doesn't appear to at first glance anyway. And then it's got a tail eraser. And you can add a scribble eraser if you want to scribble your work out because you're cross. But the pressure levels are good. And it has a tail eraser and a button eraser. And the button eraser is an area, I believe. So, you know, I think this is pretty good. It's pretty solid, basic note-taking experience so far. Whether the long run of using the whole thing is going to be good, I don't know. This looks a little bit slower than I'm used to. We will see. I think it's unfair to sort of test it too much right now because these are my very first thoughts. Now, what I remember from the previous time is this bit here. One thing I didn't like I said, they should have a second e-ink display here. Now, this is clearly just a iterative improvement on their previous eNote. Okay, so they aren't trying to reinvent everything here. This is a similar design. It's a magnetic case there, so certain gentlemen won't be ranting about that. But some of their devices did have touch input as well. So there will be, I think, more pen style devices along in the future that will include touch as well as the pen. And what you can see is actually it is very nicely thin. It is a very close ink to the top surface, and it seems to have gone onto the screensaver. If I do some ink nicely close to the edge, you might hopefully be able to see that a little bit on the screen. Actually, that ink is right there, right near the very top surface of the tablet. And that's good news for it, I think. And that's what they've tried to. They've taken the touch layer out. They've taken, let's go right to the side. Can you see that all right, you guys at home? And they've taken the touch layer out and they've taken the front light layer out. And that's to ensure that you get a pleasant writing feel. As I said, it's a bit more glidey than the previous one. I'm not bothered either way. But anyway, the buttons, as I was talking about, it does have, this is a contextual menu, like as in these buttons change. There are 3, if I remember, yeah, different places. Yeah, so there's a default set of buttons. This is sort of everywhere else, essentially. And there's a set of buttons when you're in a reader. You see the bottom one's changed there. And then there's a set of buttons when you're in a book in reading. Obviously, I haven't got any books loaded up, so I'll be able to explore that too much just now. But if you committed to this and you lived with those buttons and you were the type of person who just really like buttons, they are good buttons. You know, these are buttons that work. Then you could certainly get used to that and you'd remember what they were and what they were in each context. But what I would personally have wanted from them is this, but just here. You know, have just, if it was possible to do, just a tiny sliver of e-ink just here, or even put a tiny sliver of e-ink underneath the buttons, rather like the Steam Deck. I don't know if I can sort of extend this far enough out. The Stream Deck, rather. You know, you can imagine actually underneath those buttons having a little bit of e-ink to actually tell you exactly what those buttons were doing at any given time. I think that just would have been really neat. So maybe for the future, maybe it wasn't possible this go, but that's what I would aim for if I was them in the long run. What do you guys think? Any questions you want to see just right now? This is my first look at it just now. They seem to be bringing a whole load of different devices. They're going to bring a 13.3, a much larger one. They're going to bring a mini as well, it seems as well. They're going to bring a sort of like max out the kind of spec on it as well. This one, you know, seems okay in terms of getting around so far. Let's have a look at what apps you get automatically installed. No Google Play installed on it by default. I haven't even put it on the internet yet. See, there we go. There it was, me going to settings here. I might just go ahead and put it on the internet just now and see if there are any updates, so we can have a good look at that just now. Yes, it seems they're only going black and white at this time anyway. We'll see if they change that in the future. And but you can see they have gone Android 14. So Android 13, I think, in the last one, Android 14 on this one. And I'd hope that that means they're wanting to bring Google Play in the future as well, so we can just download things from there. So let's just go ahead and I'll just show you one short thing whilst I do that, if that's okay. And also they are advertising a suite of AI additions to the operating system. So we'll have to see when they bring that as well. This has got speakers and microphones as well. The microphones are kind of buried in this little bit here. You can just see them poking through the grill there. And I think the speakers are as well. I think one of them must be a speaker and then 4 microphones. And yeah, it's nice though. It's nice. It's got a very thin edge. I think it might even be a bit thinner than the previous one, but I'm not 100% on that. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and do that, put it on online, and yeah, whilst I'm doing that, please fire away any questions that you guys have. I just want to take a moment to talk about my membership offer. There are 3 tiers of membership. Firstly is the advanced review evaluators, and people love to see my videos before they go live to the public. The next tier is members only videos, and this year I'm increasing the number of members only videos that I put out each month. It's amazing to me that my channel is at the point where I can't respond to every single comment that I get. I try my best to get around to as many as I possibly can, but as a member in any tier, I'll always respond to your questions first. And I do know that many of you have questions about your specific use case. And the last tier is my office only tier, where I'll offer you a call every quarter if you join that tier. So you can discuss and get advice about which one might suit you, but also how you can integrate these into your work life. I really appreciate that many of you want to support the channel in this way, and this is just a bit more than giving a super thanks on a live stream. So thank you once again. I just made a mistake with the password. Hopefully we're okay. Everyone now, yeah, okay. So yeah, I thought there would be an upgrade as well. That's what they're going to do. They're going to change to the dip pen. So these are the updates that are going to come when I press download now in a moment. Calligraphy pen is going to change to dip pen. Speech transcription app. So that's an interesting one that they're bringing there. I think that could be really cool, actually. More apps section, users to download apps like OneDrive, Kindle, and OneNote. That's cool. Gallery app. So yeah, there's quite a lot that they're actually bringing when it moves from 1.00 to, I guess, 1.1. So we'll see. No, that is 1.00. So let's see if that might not finish that. It's going pretty slow there. Might not finish that in this live stream, but they certainly are going to be changes from what you've just seen there. So cool. Any questions, any comments, any concerns about that one? Yeah, so that, I hope that bit, Mark, just answers your question there. Yes, they're bringing an AI voice transcription. AI voice transcription is the bee's knees for me. I something that I use all of the time. What did I do before I before I started this live stream? Is that I did a little voice transcription of my sort of things I wanted to cover, and yeah, now I've got my notes there really quickly. So that's one way that I do that as well. And having that on an e-ink tablet, it could be really great. Of course, I do use that on e-ink tablets. I use Otter on anything with a Google Play Store. Thanks, I love making them, Ashley. Thanks so much for saying that. Get an idea of my next note taker, but also lost my job, so she's making me sad. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Well, you know, one thing that you can do with a lot of free time is make YouTube videos. And you never know. You never know. It's called the Penstar eNote 2, but it isn't on their website as far as I can see, penstardeal.com. There's a link to their website in the description. And today was the day it was supposed to launch. but it just arrived to me today. So maybe they are actually delaying things on the actual thing. Thanks. Hi and bye. See you later, buddy. Thanks so much for being here. eNote and eNote 2, I think they said 449, so they're 320 at the minute, the eNote and 449, so it's quite an upgrade really from that. They don't have a color version just yet. So a device that's like a Boox Go 10.3 but 8-inch. I need Android for some stuff. Every device I find are either 10-inch or 7-inch. Yeah, there seems to be a gap in that kind of market there because Boox, for some reason, aren't doing a 7.8 at the minute, but I think they will at some point. I'm sure they will at some point. Yeah, you've checked that as well. My pleasure, Miguel. But I would expect them to be along with a Go 7.8. I don't know why they haven't yet. It's just always surprising me that perhaps just the availability of that size of screen. Maybe e-ink have kind of gone away from that. Maybe e-ink aren't putting them together with the Wacom stack, so it means that companies need to go back to the drawing board in terms of what marker to use on there as well. We'll see. I'm stuck between the Note Air 4C and the Super Note Manta. For my new sales job, any help? Just decide whether you want to use apps or whether you want a bespoke ecosystem is my thoughts on that, because apps are great with color and they're great with a full Android system that's designed to use apps, and you can optimize for different apps. If you just want it to be like a notebook replacement, then Manta is the king. There's a strong reason why Manta is a strong #1 for me and for so many people. Do a lot of aimlessly to the phone on drive to work. Get it? Makes sense these days. Talking aimlessly to the phone on drive. Yeah, absolutely. So just the AI transcription stuff you're talking about there. Still using the Note Air 1, great device. Next device will be Note Air 3. Hard to read in the night if you have small eyelids. Small kids, is that right? Okay, so yeah, I know what you mean. You've got to keep things darker and quieter. Like to see other device colors. Kudos to Amazon for the Jade Scribe. Yeah, isn't it nice? Is the size gap because of AX paper sizing? Not sure what you mean by that, my buddy. That you're talking about the gap in terms of not being a 7.8, so you're thinking that's not there at the minute, or you're thinking that the A4 isn't there. Yeah, that is the standard set. Yeah, the 7.8 corresponds roughly to an A5. Pardon me, that's not quite right. The 7.8 inch corresponds roughly to an A6. The 10.3 corresponds roughly to an A5, and the A4 is the 13.3 inch, and that is pretty much what you get from that. Not perfect though. Yeah, so that's but then they're making like 11.8 now e-ink and 10.6, which isn't much bigger. In fact, that's probably closer to an A5, the 10.6 and the Carta 1300. I'm glad you're loving that as well. That will help the gentleman trying to decide between the two earlier on. Thanks. Hope to do looking at your review for Viwood now and leaning the AI Paper Mini. Yes, but remember the AI Paper Mini looks like the same device but smaller, but it's a much older screen and it's got a front light, but it's only a single color front light. In my opinion, wait for what Viwoods might do this autumn, because I think if they make a true AI paper but shrunk down, I think that could be really quite good. So that's what I would wait for if I were you. But you know, if the AI Paper Mini makes sense and you've seen my review of it and the comparison with it, and do that, yeah, you're using the Manta and love it, yeah. So you want the front light because you don't, you got that. Cool, yeah. Normal paper, yes. I still go back to normal paper. I broke up some stone paper earlier on. Have you ever tried this stuff? This is an all-terrain notebook that I bought from. I think I bought it from the Museum of Modern Art when we were there in New York recently. And yeah, stone paper is a good time. And they advertise this as being the kind of, this is the waterproof paper. And it works really well with this unlimited pencil from Metasil. It's like a metal pencil. And yeah, sometimes, do you know what? Sometimes I want to write one little reminder to myself. So I'm just trying out this this stone paper thing. But sometimes also this size of notepad just goes in a bag, because when I'm walking around, I just often do really quick little sketches, little 5-minute sketches, because it's a good time. So that just sits in my little pencil case on my desk there. I'm going to fire on because otherwise I'm going to run out of time for the other two. So I'm going to look at Big Me next. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this one yet? This is the Big Me B6. It's nice. Look at it. It's very cute. And I've filmed an unboxing, but I haven't got around to actually doing it, to editing it. I'll just update that one. It has full Google Play, as you can see. And yeah, this is a 6-inch e-reader, a little bit wider than a phone, but less tall. That's the Big Me High Break. E-ink phones are a very good time. And the other obvious comparison is the B7. And the B7, as you can see, again, tiny bit taller, tiny bit wider. It seems like all we've got this year so far is 7-inch devices, but the B7 also has the buttons on it there as well. The B7, when I reviewed this, I found the B7, well, not only is the pen just doesn't work, basically, it's just broken. I don't know if anyone's got a B7 and find that their pen works like normally all the time, but it's just, yeah, mine is just bad. Of course, this doesn't have any type of stylus input, and that pen's atrocious as well. When I reviewed the B7, I was like, this has the worst Geekbench score that I've ever seen. And and now I've seen worse, because this now has the worst Geekbench score that I've ever seen. It is. Are you ready for this, everybody? If you know Geekbench benchmarks, now I know that it's 2,500 is like a Core i7 12th generation. That's where you sort of bench it against, right? But this is not just, it's not 2005, it's not even in the thousands. The single core score is 189 here. Yep. Has anyone ever seen a lower Geekbench score? I mean, obviously, if you started benchmarking things in the past, then you'd see worse. But this is a processor from the past, and the GPU benchmark, just like the B7, couldn't finish. I think the B7 got something like 300 in the single core, and maybe slightly over 1,000 on the multi-core. But this is like seriously bad. And I did also install CPU-Z so we could see what it was. And I know that the e-ink tablets don't need really powerful processors, but MediaTek P35, no idea what that is, but some people, a 12-nanometer processor, so nothing sort of untoward there so far. It does have the 8 cores and the four performance cores up to 2.2 gigahertz. So, like actually on paper, it's not bad, but the actual Geekbench score was awful. And actually, although the Geekbench score is awful, it does feel like it's actually a bit more zippy to get around than the B7. Let's actually turn the B7 on and see if it's, because I think the B7 was so frustrating with how bad it was. And although you don't need loads of processing power for a basic reader, basic e-ink stuff, and actually if you did have a high level processor, it would just put the price of this way up above where it needs to be. Sure. But we've found recently on my channel that it's not fair though, Neil. That's not fair. Good one. But we found recently that actually ink screens are driven better by devices that have, oh, that's quite nice. That's quite nice actually. So did you notice that? So it doesn't have an auto rotate, but when I do that, the little rotate symbol comes up. That's okay, isn't it? That's quite a nice, hmm, that's actually an innovative idea there. This is all right. I mean, look at that, zooming in and zooming out. That's pretty good performance. Yeah, or a summer's day, if you like, short attention span. No. Yeah, I would love, but just run Geekbench on that one just now because I would love to hear what that is as well. But it's just fascinating, isn't it? And it does take generally a better processor to do this, but actually this is actually moving around quite nicely. And I actually I must confess I still haven't found the e-ink center on here yet and played about with that too much. I've just seen it used it in its default mode because that's what most people will buy this and sort of use. And actually, it's all right. I mean, they've even included a split screen on this tiny thing. No way. They've gone and done it, haven't they? Hey, kudos, Big Me. Okay, so you can't resize them. But that's not bad, is it? So let's go back into that book and see if we can just play about with the e-ink center settings just a little bit. See where they are. I bet if I turn on no, the floating ball is on. Where is it then? Sorry, give me 1 second. Oh, look, and now we're into the issues. I'm in the settings in vertical mode, but I can't scroll. The reason just keeping it off just so that I'm not showing my personal data there. So we've hit upon an issue, and as I say, the other issue is I can't seem to find the e-ink center. See, I think it's underneath that. So let's see if we can rotate it again. And here's the thing. Here's the rub, everyone, is that they've got these little capacitive buttons down the bottom there, which they've presumed those are the ones that we want. But of course, what I like at the bottom of an Android tablet is just the Android back, home, and recents buttons. And none of these are that. This is a storage button. And now I can't rotate the thing. Aha. It's back. No, it's not letting me do it, is it? Spoke too soon, didn't I? But I mean, that's screen rotations there. So the options are auto rotate vertically, rotate manually. But it does have that little, that's not right. Sorry, guys. Screen rotation. Surely that's that one. They don't correspond with it. They don't, like normally it's an A that's showing you on that menu which way around it is, but that wasn't it, was it? I'm not seeing any e-ink center. It must be there somewhere. I am seeing a button for AI, which goes to a basic AI chat here. Like the type of things that people are asking AI regularly. Will my job be replaced by you? I don't think so. Not at this rate, anyway. Is it that app configuration? Yes, there it is. So they've changed it to app configuration now. So now hopefully I can go back to my app there, but I don't have one of my buttons should just be recent. So I can go back to the app I was in, please. And because they're baked in, I'm going to have to go ahead and learn the gestures, aren't I? And I don't want to do that. Right, so it was on default. I'm going to go into HD265 now. Custom HD265 should be the very best. Vivid enhancement. Well, that's only a fast mode anyway. So that looks like I've got what I've got. App optimization, anything more? DPI, text enhancement, don't need to do that. Background color, so I'm fine, right? So now, yeah. Now it's not looking so good, is it? Have I crashed it? Do you know, I just need a back button now. So yeah, I think it's probably really quite a nice little e-reader basically, but for all the other Android things, for dotting around, you know, with Android devices, you do a lot of this. That's illegible. And that should be the very best look at this point. Still illegible. Or is it just the book? Let's go back to default. So it looked okay when I zoomed in there a minute ago. No, absolutely illegible. That's disappointing, isn't it? And now that clever rotate thing's gone. So I'll be back with more on this, I think, in the future. But as you can see, we've still got a few bugs here. I can actually read it just there now, but it certainly doesn't look good. And that's challenging. That is a challenging ask there. To white text on a colored background is actually pretty challenging. And that looks okay, that image. That looks really quite good, actually. Well, let's just go and find any text. That image doesn't look great, quite pixelated there. That's not very crisp text. It's legible, it's certainly readable, but that's not very crisp text at all. And that's in their own reader app. Hmm. I wonder if Reader, the non-Reader Pro version, looks any better. That looks crisper, actually. Not really perfect. Look at the two eyes in mailing. The edges of those aren't what you'd expect from a 300 ppi screen. And what do I get if I go into the best mode here? HD 265. That should be the crispest. Yeah, now you can see a better line on those same two eyes there. So HD 265 is doing better for text, but for image or for different color text on color backgrounds, just, yeah, not great. But really cute little design, actually. Nice back surface, nice soft sort of touch plastic here as well. And actually have a look at the little cases, because I think the case colors look really quite nice. They didn't ship me a case, but it does look quite nice. Anyway, what were your thoughts on that as well? Sorry, I was just chatting away there. That's the Bigme B6. Palma with color would be amazing, wouldn't it? Maybe one day we might get one. Are Onyx Boox devices faster than Kobos? Good question. I mean, they do different things. You've got to remember that part of that argument there as well. But the Kobo doesn't do any of the Android app stuff there as well, so not really a fair comparison. But I would imagine, yeah, it is a faster processor in a Boox device mostly. Split screen setting with Kobo reader, yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the nice things about having a full Android device is you can split screen one book, and then you can cheers, thank you. I've been watching a lot of Upstart Crow recently. It's been really, really good. And we went to see Shakespeare not that long ago, so it's been a bit of a kick there. Sorry, pardon me. Just the split screen is really good to have a reader on one side, any reader app you like, and then a notes on the other side. It's great. It's a great time. Split screen only works with a terrible stock UI. That's not true at all. No, you can definitely use split screen with just about anything at all. Oh yes, I did say that I was going to quickly show the two side by side and just see if like dotting around is in fact a slower affair on the B7. So it's B7 here on the left, B6 on the right. So try and match them up a little bit in terms of their brightness. So let's just, yeah, much slower on the B7. Can you see that? Right, so let's go all the way back through. So noticeably slower. Open the same app on them both. Really slow. Yeah, in fact, same processor. So that is fascinating. Same processor. What was the Geekbench on this one? Was it just as bad? Have I upped that in the memory? Yeah, it is just as bad. Look, single core 187, 750. Yeah, it is just as bad. So clearly driving a bigger device with more going on is just not capable of doing that. So if you have to choose between the two as a simple reader, go maybe with the Big Me. I think they're priced right. The B6 is like £117.99. I mean, that's okay, really, isn't it? Okay, cool. That's me for now. I'm just going to look at one more thing, but I'm not going to do it in much detail just now. And I do have a video coming where I show this all off. But the third e-ink that I wanted to talk about has been sitting in plain view the whole time. This is not the Note Max. This has the same panel as the Note Max. This is the Big Me B13. Now the Big Me B13 is, like you'd expect, a 13-inch Kaleido free screen with 300 ppi. But it is a computer monitor. There's no Android here at all. And when you look at their website, you'll see it from the link in the description. It comes to about $700, which is just converted into pounds at £518.99. So it's not a bad price. But remember, for just like $100 more, you can actually get the full e-ink tablet of the Tab X C with the same screen on it as well. Now, I will, as I say, I'll be along with a video of this just shortly. It does look quite good in its video mode. But there's one issue with it that I found immediately, which is that you don't appear to be able to actually run this from one cable from a laptop. And that would be what I would expect, because yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other options that are low power enough to one cable from a USB 4 port from a laptop. So you actually need to, I'll just run this all now. What I'll do is I'll just play you something while I grab cables and things to do that. And we'll see if I made an error last time, and actually it's going to just do it this time. I'll be very pleased about that. But I think for a portable monitor, and where we're talking about e-ink, which is supposedly low power, for a portable monitor, not being able to just one cable it from a laptop is a pretty fatal flaw, really, isn't it? So let's have a little look at that whilst I just play you the I don't have the, well, just as there was a question earlier on about the Note F4C.
This is the Boox Note F4C, and it's absolutely ideal if you're a student or a professional seeking a versatile e-ink tablet with a colour display to enhance your note-taking and your reading. It's got the Boox Super Refresh, so you can see ghosting is minimalised without having to do full refreshes. This time they've improved the processor and given you 6 GB of RAM. It's full Android, so it's got Google Play Store as well, so you can access any app, and Android apps do work better on a colour e-ink screen. Kaleido 3 is by no means perfect, and it is quite dark without that front light. But for me, for a tablet where you're using dynamic content, at least it's quick and doesn't need to flash to change colour. And actually this time around, they've really got it looking really good, for instance, in graphic novels. But of course, it's nowhere near the look you might expect from an LCD or an OLED tablet. But in my opinion, colour e-ink is ready now to be really enjoyed by many people. But don't expect it to be really accurate to what you're going to get on an OLED screen or even a printout. And for that reason, they only give you access to a limited palette of colours, even in the Notes app. And I've covered that there are some flaws in the note-taking app. With the pencil with tilt, still a work in progress there, Boox. But people love it for the combination of the colour ink display with that flexibility of the Android ecosystem. It really makes it a great tool for your work and for leisure. I love standing up in this mode and using it with a Bluetooth keyboard.
Okay, so here it is. So this is my GPD WinMax 2 on the left hand side here. This is the little laptop here, and it's from a USB 4 port. Okay, that's the high powered port, capable of power delivery stuff, capable of everything. And it's a USB 4 cable, as you can see. And you'll see something happen. I think it did last time anyway. Maybe I need to use its remote. There's barely any buttons on it. It's powered on, but what's powered on? As far as I can tell, even though the screen recognizes it's got a screen here, nothing happens. I can go into the settings. Well, no, I can't go into the settings, look. Because the only thing that seems to be powered on here is the front light. I'll go into the other port just in case that was a mistake. It's a really stiff port to get into. It was last time as well. There we are. Again, it will recognize it's got a screen. But this time, absolutely nothing. So there we go. Oh, it's recognized. No, that's it coming out of it. So it doesn't work like that. So that's a shame. So what you need to do then is run an HDMI cable, and incidentally, it won't power. So it won't get power from that and then signal from an HDMI. It needs to be powered from a full-on power delivery device, and I've got one just here. Is that one connected to? Yeah, hopefully that fits across far enough. Really careful layout for this testing today. Now, when it powers on, we should get a screen. No. And no, I mean, I tried it previously, obviously, like no amount of like display settings and Windows Ping and stuff like that. Well, else it just hasn't found a second display at all so far. I'm not sure why that is this time. It did last time. You can probably hear my frustration. Nothing doing again. When it's on, it works quite well. It's a fast refresh screen. Looks good. when it's on. Okay, so now I'm going to change it from the 20-watt output to the 100-watt output on my charger here. Now we've got something. I think. Yes. Oh, no. That's not what I had last time. Just want the HDMI input, please. I mean, that was all about casting to it. But I mean, so far, I'm going to have to carry around, if I want to use this portable, I'm going to have to carry around a 100-watt output power brick. No signal now. Definitely is on extend on here. This is even worse than when I tried it before, because, yeah, I mean, you'll see it running, and you'll see it running in the video that I will produce on this in a very short amount of time, in week or so maybe, but it's clearly not a reliable option. So I thought that was quite disappointing, because I did think not a bad price point for this. Yeah, just, I don't know, tell me if you've got any ideas here. I'm going to go back to these points. Well, I'm going to just sort of sum up, I'm going to leave this Big Me B13, which I would have hoped would have been a really nice portable e-ink screen, but it just hasn't turned out to be that way. Maybe I've got an issue. I will ask Big Me if I've got a faulty one. Maybe we will see. I'll just quickly get rid of some of these cables and bring the pen start back, because it's done its update, and we just wanted to see really quickly one thing from that. And there was a change to the pen type. Now it's not a calligraphy pen, it's a dip pen. No, it's not bad. I don't know whether it's just changed its name. And what's the issue there? The ballpoint's the same though. Whoa, it lost a stroke. Is that a magnet thing? Seems all right there. It isn't the world's greatest latency as well. I'm not seeing much improvement in that sense. Not terrible, but not the world's greatest. And the other things that they were talking about is an app store. System apps, they've added gallery. Voice to text, they've added. And more apps, and Microsoft 365 Copilot app there. Kindle app. So it has its own app store, but not Google Play Store. So just updated that. So again, this is the type of thing that Boox had years ago, before they went to a full-on Google Play Store. And usually this means that what you won't be able to do, and you can see there, haven't got any of the Google suite of apps, because if it's not Google Play certified, then they are not going to let you sign into a Google account essentially from it. But you could perhaps use your Office one. I will, of course, try OneNote on it, because that is something that I use on apps. I'm not going to do that right now. Different readers you might be interested in. If you're So Kindle, Kobo, things like that. And then lastly to say, let's try out the voice transcription app. Log into an account first, so I can't do that right now. So that is for another day. Thank you so much for spending the evening with me, everybody. Yeah, you should. And that, when I used it, the B13, it was a good time. It was a really good time. But I just don't think the monitors are there yet, unless you have a specific use case or really need it for eye strain. It's just a substandard experience for the price, which is so good. Well, as I say, the video mode on it was actually clear enough, and it was actually crisp enough to type on. Because for me, what gets me, I find that the Note Max and the Tab X, they're fast enough to type. Yeah, I'm the same. They're fast enough to type on, but what gets me is not having all of the like desktop Word features that I'm used to. So that's the thing there as well. Awesome. Glad to have introduced you to these new things here. It does have a really nice screen. It really does. And if you compare that to a Kaleido free screen, I mean, it's quite literally night and day. That's with all its lights on. I turn the lights off, and this guy doesn't have a light at all. I mean, the Kaleido free is massively different, but this is a nice white screen that definitely delivered on that promise. But yeah, I think that these two companies are showing how much, how far ahead Boox are in terms of their e-ink software, and I think that's the thing. And that's the difficulty there, Margie. I'd love to see an e-ink laptop coming. And one thing I wanted to do with that B13 was to actually just hook onto a sort of mini PC in a kind of semi-permanent sort of role, and use it as an e-ink typing station, and maybe even look at a way to make this tiny little Windows machine. I wanted to use that to sort of make it a portable e-ink computer. We'll see. I've got an idea still, but this is also 12 volt. This is the issue. This thing takes a 12 volt plug, and so does the Big Me B13. And most USB ports are 5 volt. So I think that's the issue. There is some component in that which is taking 12 volt USB, but it doesn't need to be that way, surely, because the Android, the Tab X C, is running off 5 volt. So I think they've just made, I don't know, for some reason they've included a higher powered connector that they probably don't need, and it's making it a real, yeah, a real fuss to organize. We'll see. We will see. Cool. Thank you so much for spending the time with me, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. I hope to see you tomorrow. If you're interested in the mini PCs, then let's have a little look at those together as well. I'm going to go with the Boox F4C, but Super Note Mantis still sounds awesome. So that's what we're here for. That's what the stream is all about, is helping you make that informed choice. And yeah, if you, as I say, if you want to use notes, if you want to use apps, then it is really a great choice. It really is. You won't be disappointed, I'm sure. But do take your time, because there's always there's a point normally with the e-ink tablets. There's a point for people where it's like, okay, do I pick up my e-ink tablet to do the bit of thinking and the bit of note taking that I was actually intending on doing, or do I go back to my old habit of picking out my notepad? And if you go back to the old habit of picking out a notepad at that point, then you probably will just not. So I just got distracted by my distraction-free terminal here, which is this one here. There's a quote you're probably quite familiar with, you folks at home. But I guess, you know, I'm the average of you guys spending the time here with me at this point. That's great that you only have to charge it once every month, or well, not even that, once every 3 months or something, and it's updating every 5 minutes at this point. Where was I? There'll be a point where you might just think, I'll go back and I'll use my old thing. Go past that. okay, go up that learning curve and make it more of a habit to use the e-ink tablet, and you won't regret it. It will reward you having spent the time climbing that curve. Awesome. Thanks so much, everybody, and I will see you all tomorrow, I hope.